Okay, I think I'll get started now. I wasn't sure when to start. So hello, my name is Michał and I'll be talking about Blue Team Blunders 5 common SOC pitfalls. This is a lightning talk, and before we begin, I just wanted to say this comes from a place of love, from the blue team, not from hate. I'm a blue teamer very deeply in my heart. And yeah, so just a very quick disclaimer. I am not here on behalf of my employer. The views that I express here, they're not endorsed by them. I'm not sure even that they're particularly aware I'm talking here. First I wanted to just very quickly outline why, in my opinion, talking about mistakes instead of successes also has its merits. Learning about mistakes, especially mistakes other people do, really can help you avoid them in the future. When you have a catastrophic mistake, it always makes sense to have a lessons learned and see what you can take out of what happened. I firmly believe that there should be a culture of talking about mistakes inside of our industry without really being shamed by your peers. You shouldn't really lose in their eyes if you admit to a mistake. In fact, I believe they should be grateful to you that you've allowed them to not commit this mistake themselves, but instead rely on your failure. So, the first kind of mistake or failure that I'd like to talk about are bad heuristics. Now, I think I should explain what a heuristic is. So, a heuristic, it's like this shortcut we take, and pretty much everyone does it. If you're out in the park and you hear like meowing in the bushes, you can assume that there's a cat there. That's a heuristic. You don't know for sure that there's a cat there, but it's very likely. And if you're analyzing alerts, if you're just going through the ticket queue, you will develop your own little heuristics. This is only natural. Honestly, your job would be much harder without it. However, some of the heuristics you develop may be misleading. And so I just wanted to give a couple of examples of bad heuristics I've seen. So one of them is, for example, heuristics about a certain rule. So if a rule always misfires, you can close it without looking at the alert. That's a common one. Another one that you may see is that all alerts caused by signed binaries or also signed binaries caused by Microsoft can be dismissed. I think everyone has heard a story of some junior analyst just dismissing an alert of PowerShell exe spawning suspicious things because they saw on VirusTotal that PowerShell was a signed binary. Another heuristic that is also misleading or bad would be that actions done by our EDR or remote management tool or some other kind of vendor-supplied software will always be legitimate. EDRs can get popped. Threat actors can have access to consoles. They can run things, they can spawn their malicious processes through EDRs. It's been known to happen. Same goes for remote management tools. They are extremely popular with attackers right now. Another one is also something like our sysadmins use psexec, so any psexec activity is likely to be done by them. These are just shortcuts you will develop that you really shouldn't have in your head. Another issue that doesn't really impact individual analysts, but is more prevalent when it comes to organizations, especially maybe ones that are a little less mature or that are dealing with an overwhelming workload, is alert fatigue. So alert fatigue occurs when the volume of alerts is so overwhelming that instead of like looking in detail at every single alert that you have, you look for reasons to dismiss it so we can move on to the next thing. And this is like a good way to know, in my opinion, if you're experiencing it. If your first instinct when you're looking at an alert is, why is this, why can I close the ticket? Or not, why is this interesting? Or what could be suspicious about this? And this is caused by things like high alert volumes, which can be created by false positives, some mistuned products, or an immature detection lifecycle process. Another thing that I feel people sometimes don't pay enough attention to is operational security failures. So operational security is a term borrowed from the military, and it is the process of securing unauthorized, securing information from being known by your adversaries. So there are some common blue team OPSEC failures, and I think the most prevalent one, I think that pretty much everyone has experienced this or seen this in action, is that people routinely upload sensitive information to VirusTotal. If you go on VirusTotal right now, you look for the keyword confidential, I guarantee you will find thousands of PDFs with confidential information in there. Another one that sometimes I run into is discussing confidential customer information in public. And this is a little bit of a funny story, but one time I was at a restaurant and I saw a man try to impress his date by going through details of an incident he worked. Honestly, I don't think that explaining how Mimikatz works is a good subject to impress someone, but I digress. One thing that people do that I feel is very risky and perhaps people shouldn't be doing is interacting with adversary infrastructure. Very often you will find that there's a stage 2 payload being hosted somewhere. Now, when a threat actor is paying attention and they see someone downloading a stage 2 using something like curl, you will have let them know that we are onto you. If this threat actor has destructive intentions, maybe they want to ransom your domain, they might accelerate what they are doing and just deploy their ransomware or some kind of wiper or destroyer right after noticing that. Another pitfall I've found is people using online analysis tools that could be saving your information. So very often when you come across like a base 64 encoded string, you'll want to decode it. And what some people do, unfortunately, is they just paste that into some kind of online website, some kind of decoder. As far as I know, CyberChef is one you can trust. It doesn't really send your information anywhere, but there are definitely tools out there that we actually don't know what they are doing. Now, these base 64 encoded blobs, they honestly contain credentials or secrets quite often, so it's something to be very careful about. One thing that is also significant is misunderstanding the purpose and inner workings of tools. Tools are just tools. They serve to fulfill a specific task, and you should really understand what they are and how they do what they do. So yesterday there was a very interesting talk about macOS, and the author of the talk said that most macOS malware actually is going to be undetected in VirusTotal. And I think this just proves my point very well. If an executable has no detection engines flagged on VirusTotal, it doesn't mean it's not malicious, it just means that no antivirus companies have signatures for it. After all, VirusTotal is just mostly a front end for several antivirus engines. Sandboxes are another one that you can really struggle with. Sandboxes are not a silver bullet and it can spit out deceiving results, especially on the false negative side. Nowadays, coding your malware to not detonate in them is in most malware authors' arsenals. I mean, I'm pretty sure every malware author has at least like 3 favorite tricks they use to not let their malware detonate inside of sandboxes. I think the previous talk outlined that very well. And the last error that I'd like to talk about is not keeping up with the security landscape. So if you are an analyst, if you're a SOC guy, most of your job will be dismissing false positives. And honestly, it's extremely easy to just get very complacent in that. You just log in, you dismiss your false positives for the day, you log out. However, in the background, there's a whole kind of cybersecurity industry happening around you. And it's a little bit like fashion. Certain things come into fashion, certain things come out of fashion. And you should really be able to spot the things that are currently in fashion on a first glance. And I think a very good example of this is something that's currently in fashion is the delivery method of click fix or fake CAPTCHA. This is where a user will have a displayed pop-up box that has informs them that in order to pass some kind of anti-bot scan, they're going to need to enter some commands into their Windows run box. If you see like just random PowerShell, encoded PowerShell running from Explorer as a child, you might think that the user is some kind of insider, or you might make some incorrect conclusions. But if you know what is fashionable right now, you will just be much more efficient at what you do. So I also wanted to talk about some tips for avoiding these mistakes. Now, some of these can be instituted by individuals, other ones can be put together by like larger institutions like SOC teams. I really think that ingesting threat intelligence reports made by vendors or made by independent orgs like the DFIR report can really, really help you here. You will know what is in fashion right now. I'd also like to ask that you put in special care to eliminate stupid work done by your blue team. If you see certain false positives pop up again and again, you should probably take some time to tune it. You should incentivize the members of your blue teams to make sure that that they also focus on not doing unnecessary work that will just tire them out. One thing that I also think is very invaluable is getting some offensive training. Just being able to think like an attacker will really help you identify and also, in a way, predict the paths they will take. Being aware of OPSEC is something you just need to be aware of when you need to be a little creative in your paranoia. For example, you just need to kind of anticipate which ways your customers' data might get leaked. So for example, maybe if you were at a coffee shop and you just want to work on some alerts there, maybe that's not a great idea, since you might be working with some kind of secrets or some kind of confidential information. Another thing that I found to be helpful is where once in a while experienced analysts will review calls made by less experienced ones and use this as a bit of a mentoring opportunity. Like go over some calls that are done, just talk about the reasoning behind them and how this reasoning could be improved. And I think that the last part is to just use mistakes as a learning opportunity. Everyone will fail, everyone makes these mistakes. I think it's a shame if we don't learn from them. So I'd like to thank you all for listening to me. This is my LinkedIn if you'd like to talk. Thanks.